Mr. Farley is an HBCU graduate with no criminal record, and it's actually his marketing and his genius work as a businessman that even brought him into all of this, which is why we're asking the court to sentence us under Alford. In 2019, him and a friend created a clothing item, a hat, that was like a satirical play on the Trump hat where it said "Make America Slime Again" instead of "Make America Great Again." And Your Honor, the clothing brand never said anything about YSL. It was just using this youth term slime, which I'm sure by now the court knows can have many different meanings in many different contexts. Mr. Farley is born and raised in the Cleveland Avenue area, and he does exemplify a lot of the great qualities of the people of that area: his creativity, intelligence, tenacity, his bravery in taking things this far, Your Honor, putting his foot down when he was faced with this, government abuse. And his dad is here in the yellow hoodie in the back. He's also an entrepreneur. That's where Miles gets a lot of that from. And so, Your Honor, when Mr. Farley made this clothing brand, he built off of the hat. In 2020, he made an LLC for Make America Slime Again, and he's actually employed by a record label to be a handler for a musical artist. And then he used those associations and that presence to promote his brand and to have his clothing be as visible as possible. He started making custom pieces for different artists and different people. And Your Honor, if you remember from the evidence that was presented, Mr. Farley's always wearing his own clothing, and he's only ever promoted his clothing for the purpose of himself and his business and his family. And so that's why, Your Honor, I think the most sincere and appropriate way to resolve this case is under Alford.
In tendering a guilty plea under Alford, Mr. Farley, you are admitting that while you do not believe you have committed the crime of conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, you are acknowledging that there is sufficient evidence that the state could present to a jury from which a jury could conclude that you are guilty of that crime. You understand that, right?
Yes.
All right. In accord with the negotiated recommendation, I am going to sentence you to 5 years probation. And as we discussed before, how you perform during the next 5 years of this probation is going to determine whether you finish that. A person who can say that they do not have any felony conviction, or whether you might be spending some time potentially incarcerated. So it's entirely up to you how you comport yourself and how you choose to behave going forward. What ultimately will happen at or before the end of that 5 years. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.